to this week's Real Estate Producer Show. I'm Kara, and I'm here with Ryan French from Dobi Real Estate and Dominic and Nicole from Hall Financial.
Hello,
Welcome,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks,
How's
Ryan.
it
So
going?
we're so excited to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk investment properties with you. I know that you have over 20 years of experience. How long have you been in the industry for?
Oh my gosh, since I've been 25.
Okay, so we're so only like 5 years, but no.
Exactly.
Don't
Just
fill his
kidding.
head.
So we're really excited to hear everything that you have to say. So speaking of starting in the career, like how did you get started in real estate?
I got started in real estate because I was actually purchasing properties for myself.
Okay.
So
nice.
that's the whole reason why I got my real estate license.
Wow. Okay.
After
So
I
when you say
purchased them, I was
properties,
looking.
you were purchasing investment properties or like both, primary? What was the deal?
Investment properties to single resident homes to rent.
Nice. Very cool.
And question. So I know you have a teammate, Jennifer Stillwagon. You guys
Yes.
work great together. Can you explain this? She's going to kill us, but can you explain this here before we get started?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So she just
The caption
Becky.
said no words. The caption says no words.
That's
So
Becky, and she just fell for my sign.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So little play on words.
Little play
there.
on
Okay,
words.
got it.
We
Excellent.
love it.
Wow.
We love it. I promise that's the only hard-hitting question that we'll ask.
That's
Today,
hilarious.
everything else, you'll be teaching us something. We had to just throw that in there.
So is right now a good time, since we were talking about investments, is right now a good time to invest in a home? If you have a primary home, is it a good time to start buying other properties to hang on to or to flip?
It is. Flipping is a little bit more tough to actually make a profit depending on where you're purchasing the home. But as far as purchasing a home to rent, it's actually a good time because they're in need. We need rental properties.
So do
we
you
need rental properties just as much as we just need to
Do your
houses for
investors
people.
look at homes that have been on the market maybe a little bit longer, that maybe need some work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good approach. Because obviously the more money you can save on the purchase, the better profit you're going to have when renting it out.
And I know it's maybe a basic question, but for someone looking for investing in, real estate, what's the first step? Do you look in the area? Do you look at the price of the home or your price range? I know, again, it's a pretty generic question, but what is that first step when looking to invest in real estate?
The first step is really your buying power. It's the same process as purchasing a home just as your primary residence. How are you going to pay for it? You're going to borrow money? Do you have cash? That's actually really the first step.
Okay, so you'd say the first step while looking for an investment property or looking whether even investing is right for you is just taking a look at your finances and whether you're going to go through a lender or not, go through cash. So that's definitely good advice there. And something I kind of want to go back on and you touched on, I know that you said it with about referring to flipping homes, and it depends on whether that's a good area to flip a home and get into an investment property, but are there specific areas that you recommend for investors to get into different investment properties? Are there specific areas in the Metro Detroit area that are better than others, or would you say that there's any house out there's opportunity in any area?
There's probably opportunity in any area, but the opportunity now would be Detroit. Okay. Pontiac, those homes are definitely priced a lot lower, and there's opportunity for rental, and you can, especially in the Pontiac area. I mean, you can pick up properties there that you don't even have to put any money into. You can just purchase them and get them rented out like immediately. Detroit's questionable. There's you're gonna have to put some work into them.
Okay, nice.
And then as far as inspections go, some people are waiving their inspections, just to get that deal done. With investment properties, are people bringing along their
inspector,
their contractor, their inspectors? So is it a little bit different when it comes to people who are looking to invest as far as inspection goes?
No, it's pretty much the same process as far as just bringing in that inspector. It's really who you're working with. An established investor usually just does their own inspection. They're very well versed in houses and know what to look for, and somebody that's new to the investment world, you would definitely want to bring in that inspector.
Okay, so
to take a look at
inspection
it.
either way.
Yeah,
Whether
inspection
that's
either
primary,
way.
That's I feel like
Right.
that's definitely the same song and dance with even
Right.
primary homes is make sure that you're always getting that inspection too. But to Nicole's point, I think that there is definitely a investors have a little bit more skin in the game, where obviously they're it's not for their own use.
Correct.
So the inspection is even more important, I feel like, to Nicole's point, with investors, because they want to make sure they're getting their money's worth and it will be a good investment to that point. So.
And Ryan, can you explain to your clients that will be watching this about taxes? When you own a primary house, how much it would be. When you own an investment property, that it's a little bit more. Can you explain that a little bit?
So the difference between like homestead and non-homestead?
Correct. Yes.
So when you have an investment property, you are paying for higher taxes on that home. It's called to be non-homestead, and you pay a higher tax regarding to the schools, is what it's for. So, and that can range. It just all depends on the property, but you're looking at a significant increase of $2,000 to $3,000 more a year just in the taxes alone.
What percent would you think would be higher for a second home, second or third? Like a third more in taxes?
Probably a third. Okay. Yeah, definitely a solid third.
Okay, nice.
In regards to, and again, investment, is that something you recommend, like flipping houses, or you just touched on it, rental properties? I know they're a little different in sense of what you have to do in an investment standpoint, but is there one that you would pick, either investing in flipping a house or in investing it in regards of renting it out as a rental property?
It depends on the person, really. If you want to flip houses, there's obviously a little more work involved. Mm-hmm. In order to make any money off that flip property, you have to put money into it. You have to be hiring contractors. You have to be buying materials, to where if you're going in as a rent or as an investor to just rent, then you can purchase houses that are just ready to go, and buy it and get a renter in there and start making income. So they're really two different animals.
So it sounds like one factor while assessing whether, if you're looking into investing in a property, it sounds like one factor that's definitely important is just your overall timeline, and whether you are ready to kind of have to put in the time and the work and the effort that it goes into flipping a home, or whether you'd rather just get your money's worth as soon as possible. So time is definitely a factor there. Not to say one is necessarily better than the other always, but time always you got to always be mindful of that time piece.
Right.
I have one more question. I know that you and Jen, I've known you and Jen for a long time. You guys have been business partners for a while. Mm-hmm. Are you finding right now, because you do more than just investments, of course,
right,
in this area, are you finding that you're getting more listings right now with the spring market coming? Are more listings coming on the market?
We are working with more listings right now than we are buyers. Yes.
Nice, that's a good sign.
That is a good sign, considering the inventory has been so
Yeah.
low. Yeah, it's great to be getting those listings.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, moving away a little bit from the investment property talk that we have. So I'm going to read it from here. So on your website, you say, we don't measure success through achievements or awards, but through satisfaction of our clients. Kind of walk us through that quote, how that, when did that come about? When did you start really embracing that? And what does that mean to you?
Well, working with Dobi, one of our biggest, we pride ourselves on the overall process of purchasing a home. It should be exciting for the client, and that's it. It's an experience, and we want to keep it a great experience. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're saying there. We want the client to have a great purchasing experience with us or selling.
Yeah, and you said something too there, which I think is key, is that it should be a good experience. And I think that a lot of either whether you're listing a home or buying one right now, especially for anyone that's looking for a home, is frustrating. I mean, it's no secret that inventory is down. So it's difficult. There's, there's now this, I think a little bit of fear of rising rates and what that might mean for some people. So it's a little frustrating and can be not as exciting. So it's good that you said that it should be exciting. And that's how we think as a lender as well, is that this is an exciting time in your life, even though there's a little bit of work, and I think there's more work than ever for anyone that's purchasing a home right now, but doesn't mean that it's not going to be worth it, and doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at all. So you should be excited if you're looking for a home out there and working with a good realtor and lender to help ease those process.
Yes.
And
processes.
Ryan and Jen are very fun, and they're very experienced. So, and they're a lot of fun. Did I say that?
We're a lot of fun.
Right.
We like to have fun. I mean, there's no reason not to have fun. And to the buyers out there, I mean, it should be fun. Don't get burned out. Don't get overwhelmed. You will get a house. It will happen, and you will love it. That is one of the biggest things we always have the conversation with our clients. And that first one falls through, and they're bummed out, and then the second one may fall through, and they're bummed out, but then the third one, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad, when they actually do get that third or fourth one, they're just happy. They're like, we're so glad we didn't get those other 3 or 4, because this is actually our perfect house.
The process is worth it.
Yeah, the process is definitely worth it. So hang in there, because you will get a house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Well,
advice.
thank you so much. We appreciate it. And I also just want to, recap on some of the things that you were saying with investment properties too, is I think that it's amazing to use your resources. And I think that the first step and what common thing that we were talking about is just how do you even get started in investment. First is assess your finances, talk to a realtor like yourself, talk to a lender. And I think something that we were talking about even before the show is that it's a little bit more attainable than I think people think. I think if you want to touch on that too, I think that some people have this misconception that investing is, this thing that is so much further in their future. So what would you say to those individuals, and kind of just to give an ending of anyone that's interested in investing but might not think that they can do it right at this time?
Yeah, definitely assess your finances, especially if you own a home and you haven't refied recently. You can do a refi with a cash out, and I mean, you could easily walk away with $10, $15, $20, $100,000 in your pocket, possibly even more, depending on what the value of your home is and how much equity you have in that house. So that's always a really good way to start if you don't have that money just sitting in the bank for the purchase. Look into your buying power. Look into the home that you're already living in, and if you don't own a home and you don't have the money, maybe you ask your parents, borrow some money from them. Once you get going, you can
Bank
pay
of
them
Mom
back.
and Dad, my favorite bank.
Yeah,
I'm just
the Bank of Mom and Dad.
I'm just kidding, but that's huge, and that's really, really helpful. I think that sometimes people don't always, it's hidden in plain sight. So if you own a home right now, it's worth checking out and talking to a lender like Hall Financial and seeing what you can do with the equity, and there's certainly more equity than ever in people's homes right now, so that is huge. And thank you so much for all of your insight. We're so thankful for you coming on today.
Thanks,
We appreciate
Ryan.
you.
Thanks for having me.
And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.